Yeah, I had a woman in my life. You know, really good woman. She was a square though, and you know, we talked about her being able to like understand, or at least try to understand where I've been, you know, and it's really difficult, especially because she was younger than me, not considerably younger, but you know she was younger than me. But you know her life up until that point was just like it was mainstream, and just trying to. I forgot the train of thought where I was going to go with this, but yeah, she couldn't get with it. You know, she couldn't get with it. But no, what I was saying was, I think what was going the work in progress. I think we're all a work in progress. You know, you don't stop. You know, like the discovery of self, the revelation of self is gonna happen until you're in the grave.
So I want to ask you, because you brought this up, how has your relationship been with women since you've been out? Like,
okay, this is
because
a really good question.
these years in prison have kind of like
So
because a woman dealing with you, she's not dealing with an average guy she's ever dealt with before.
Right.
You know,
depending on the lifestyle that she
depending on the lifestyle that she
was has been living. But like I said, so the woman that I came home to, she did like the last year and change of my. So she got a more refined me after 26 years. She didn't get gang banging me. So she really couldn't appreciate that. You know, when I met her, I was at Auburn. I was in the Cornell prison program, the college program. So I was finally putting to use some brains, you know, so it's something, you know, in an endeavor that could actually benefit me. And that's, you know, she met me in that stage of my life, and you know, she used to come up on visits, and we used to talk about everything, what I was doing in school, and the considerations of certain classes, and philosophy, and history, and economics, and you know, because she was a professional woman, and she was like astounded. She was like, "Yo, how does a person with 25 years in prison, you know, like sound like this and consider the things you do the way you do?" And I was like, "Hey, there's a bunch of us in here. Not everybody is a scumbag, but the reputation for being scumbags we have earned." But when I got out, it's just situation and circumstances didn't, you know, it was different, man. I got bombarded. So my I went to prison at 17. So most of my interactions with women back then was, not to be vulgar, but you know, when you're 17, a warm wind blow by you had attention, and you like you're feral with it. And at that point I was snatched away, then locked in prison, and then my interactions with women from then was on paper and across the table like this in the visiting room.
So to come home and just get dropped right off in it.
Right, where the considerations are different, because there was so much distance from the prison relationship. You know what I'm saying? I send a letter out, it takes you a minimum of like 3 days to get a response. The phone is, it was a lot easier near the end of my bid when they changed the phone system, and they were a lot more affordable. But years ago, a 10-minute call was like $20. You know what I mean? So it was an economic strain on somebody in the street. So that wasn't really always popping, always available. So you either did it through the writing, which gave you at least a temporal difference of like 3 days. And then when you was on the visit, you might have got maybe, I don't know, depending on your situation and circumstances where you was at, you might have got, a handful of visits a year. You know what I mean? And then you got the physical distance. And so a lot of things that for years, all throughout my 20s, all throughout my 30s, and then almost halfway through my 40s, I never had to consider in a relationship with a woman. And so then I came home, and it's like, oh, you're expecting that? Like, whatever it was, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not used to, dealing like that with a woman. And it didn't work out. It didn't work out. And then I kind of, because I really wanted it to. I was trying to figure things out, and she wasn't built for, like, I know you're gonna, like, I'm gonna rock with you.
Yeah.
You're gonna make some mistakes. I know you're gonna do some fucking up, but I'm gonna hold you down and rock with you. Because I didn't really need to be held down in any other way. You know what I mean? I kind of hit the ground running. But when you and I met, through Fortune and the Bloomberg program, I was home maybe like 30 days.
Oh yeah, I think I was home. See, that was what, 2018.
I came home December of 2017.
Oh, so yeah, we met like in February.
Yeah,
that's when it started.
Yeah, that's when it started. Yeah. When we started working at Bloomberg, I had started the process. From late December, early January, I was trying to sign on with the Bloomberg.
I had been home probably almost a year.
Yeah, I was fresh home.
Yeah, like almost a year.
I was just home. I kind of hit the ground running, and that's another thing. I had a lot of expectations. I had a high expectations, and I had the ability, always have, to put people at ease with my my assertiveness, my like being solid, being stable. Again, he's gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
I always inspire that in people. Oh, he's smart. He knows. He gonna make it happen. And I keep it like that on the surface. Underneath, I'll be like, damn, how the fuck am I gonna figure this out? I can inspire confidence in people, and on the inside, I'm like, damn, I need to figure this thing out. And I made some, missteps. I butt with women. I got caught up with some. Never trust a big butt to smile. Bill DeVoe told us that, man, in the 80s, man. I got caught up in some nonsense, man, all behind chasing some tail. And
do you think a guy that has done a certain amount of time and coming home, do you think he should come home to a relationship, or do you think he should come home and try to find himself first?
Yeah, you gotta get the world. I think it was Euripides on his invention or discovery of the lever. He said, give me a firm spot upon which to stand and I shall move the earth. And I think that's what a guy coming home from prison needs. He needs the earth firmly up under his feet. The relationship I had, like I said, when I came home, she was a professional woman, well established. And I don't come from like pimp genes, with women taking care of me. And like I said, I had the example of my stepfather, a working man. I'm not gonna be sitting on my ass and letting a woman, buy my clothes and buy my food, and and so it's an ego thing. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's definitely an ego thing.
You want to get out there and do for yourself.
Right. And not be restricted and limited to what another person is willing to do for you.
See, my thing was coming home, I already been controlled. So me, it's like when I come home, I want to be free.
Right.
Like, and
at least have the semblance of it. Still being on paper is
it's still, but at least have a semblance of it. And I felt like the relationship is so restricted.
Confining. Yeah.
It's confining. It's like, I just came from that.
Where you going? Who you with? Yeah. When you coming home? When you're like, whoa, I got one parole officer.
And it's like, I can't, like, it's a part of me that wants to do that, but then it's another part of me just like, no.
Because you want to be committed.
Yeah.
You want the commitment. You want the solidity of the confidence of being in a committed relationship. But then, there's that dichotomy, there's that other side of it. Like, I also want my freedom.
Yeah.
I watched a really good movie that's on Netflix called Solo. It's a Spanish subtitle.
Okay.
It's from Spain. Actually, I think it might be Portuguese, but no, it's Spanish. It takes place on the Canary Islands, which is a Spanish province off the coast of Africa.
Yeah.
And the guy, no, a woman asked the dude, the star of the film. She asked him. She was like, "Freedom or love? You can't have both."
Wow, freedom or love.
You can't have both. Because if you're gonna be in love, if you're gonna you're gonna have to truncate your freedom, you know. And so.
And that's the thing. Just being where I came from, it's like I need that.
Yeah.
Like I need that. Like I went through, like I was married, and it didn't work out. Like she was with me for like the last couple of years in my prison bed. She came at the end. You know,
you were already a little bit more, definitely more refined than you were.
Of course, I was already into college and everything.
Right. You know,
I calmed down, and I know I'm trying to get out of here. You know, so there's a lot of things I wasn't, indulging in, and she came at the end, and I appreciate it. Like even to this day, we still cool. We got divorced and everything. We still cool, and I appreciate everything she did for me. But it's just like before I even came home, she wanted me to come up to live with her up there, and it's just like I can't do it.
See, you were wise enough to make that decision. I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I wasn't going to be able to. I wasn't going to be able to fulfill her expectations. Something
in my mind said, yo, just go to a shelter. And that's what I did. I went to a shelter, and people was like, yo, you going to a shelter?
When you have the opportunity.
When you have the opportunity to go home to your...
That's foresight. You had the foresight. I did. But I try to exercise a little bit more now.
And I'm glad I went to a shelter. I got home in April. August, I had this apartment.
Yeah, that's good money.
You know? I had a job like April, like in June. You know?
Yeah, because right after the fellowship, right after the Bloomberg fellowship, you transitioned right into
because I had another job and then from the fellowship.
Yeah, you had a job before you came to the fellowship. I remember you beefing. You was like, man, I gotta get out of that shit.
It was killing me.
Yeah, I remember you talking.
I'm not gonna say the place's name, but man, I realized I seen what they were doing. They were hiring immigrants, and they were hiring people with felony convictions, people who were on parole. And
they don't have to pay you as much.
Not only that, the way they was treating us.
Well, yeah.
They was treating us bad, man. Disrespectful.
My cousin that put me on, I just got a union gig. My cousin's been in the union for years, but, I made my first forays into like the construction trades. My cousin was like, yo, get into a union. I said, they make a few extra dollars. And he was like, no. He said, it's way more than that. He said, they're going to treat you like shit. They're going to break your fucking back. He said, they're going to maximize their, whatever they can get out of you for the pittance that they paying you.
Yeah.
They say they know union guys are going to be making maybe 3 times what they're going to be paying you. He said, they're going to try to get 3 times the amount of work out of you. He said, yeah, get into a union. But, the transition, I've been home now, so you've been home a while.
Yeah.
You've been home 3 years. About 3
almost,
years.
2000, I got home with 17, 2 years. 2 years and some change, right?
Yeah, closer to 3. Like I said, I came home December of 17, and I got about 20 months now. So I'm approaching 2 years.
Oh, is it? No, it is 2 years because April made 2 years.
So you came home in April of 17?
Yeah.
Oh, so you got about 8 months. You've been home about 8 months longer than me.
I've been actually here in this apartment for 2 years.
That's really good.
Yeah. Definitely. So I want to ask you, when you came home, what was one of the habits that you was trying to break? Because we all accumulate these habits in prison. Now, what was some of the craziest habits that you was trying to break or couldn't break when you first came home?
Was probably my eating habits. So Um, my girl at the time, she, she cooked, made a big meal, nice meal, and I was just never used to eating off of a plate. I'm used to eating out of a bowl. No, out of a bowl.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, because everybody got their bowls.
Right.
You go to a mess bowl.
I had this big ass bowl with like the blue tops.
Yeah.
And I put my food in there, so I got a plate now. And so she was like, went to make a plate, and I discovered really quick that there's not enough space
on the plate
for what I'm used to eating. So she was like, "What do you like? I'm trying to put rice and chicken and salad, and I got stuff falling off the side." She was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm making a plate." She was like, "You ain't gotta pile all that food on your plate. You can always eat and then get some more, But it wasn't just so much about wanting to eat it all at once. It was just that I was just used to having a certain amount of food in this bowl. You got a bowl, we use 2 bags of rice for one person. And I didn't really know until later on that one bag was 2 servings.
Yeah.
One bag was supposed to feed 2 people. Well, I was eating 2 bags, which was 4 servings. So I got that in the bowl, and then,
whatever type of meats.
Yeah, and then, salads or whatever, your salad. And then bread. I used to eat bread with every meal. And she was like, who does that? With everything? You eat bread with everything? And I'm like, yeah. And I was just like, I've been doing it for so long. And another thing was eating fast.
Yeah.
Always eating fast. That's a mess hall. Especially being in a spot like Attica, Comstock, man, it's 10 minutes, Dougie Fresh. You out of here,
You don't have to eat quick.
Yeah, knocking that down so you can get out, or eating fast to get to the yard, or eating fast to get to your program or something like that. And she's like, she used to sit down and eat, and she'd just be like really getting into her meal, and I'm going to put the dish in the sink. She was like, "You done?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't play no games."
Do you think you would benefit from therapy after doing all that time?
That has been put to me I don't know how many times.
Do you think you need therapy after doing that time? Or do you think the state should provide therapy to people who are coming home after doing a certain amount of time?
Okay. So I got we live in a dual world.
Yeah.
We live in what they call an antipodal environment. Everything on earth has 2-sided, in, out, up, down, wet, dry, hot, cold, man, woman, fine. So I have the logical response to that, and then I have the emotional response to that.
Let's give it the logical response.
Logical response is, I'm pretty sure, I don't know what kind of, everybody does a different type of bid.
Yeah.
I wasn't a wallflower. I wasn't the guy that was, going to church and into school. I did that later.
Yeah.
When I picked up a Quran after 25 years in. When I went to school after 25 years in, I finally sat my ass down because I was like, they're never gonna let me out unless I do. But I'm pretty sure I got in some form of fashion some type of PTSD. I know a lot of dudes that I know have PTSD. I was fortunate enough to make it through prison. Thank God I ain't got no big scars and stuff on my face. I know some dudes that got some horrific, wounds, and I'm pretty sure that they got some form of PTSD. And even the guys that committed the atrocities, that put the wounds there, they got some type of form of PTSD.
That's the logical.
Right.
Now let's hear the emotional.
The emotional side is, man, I don't want nobody rooting around in my fucking head. I don't want to be in there most of the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially those dark corners.
Yeah. Like sometimes you just want to forget about it, throw it away.
Yeah, lock that door.
Yeah.
Throw the key away. And that was another, those are issues too that are gonna creep into any amorous relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're dealing with your woman. My girl used to tell me, she was like, she said, yo, you fighting your sleep. I was like, what? She was like, yo, you be bugging. And, you know, I spent my whole bit in the cell by myself. I didn't double bunk, you know? And I didn't have nobody to tell me if I was bugging in my sleep or not. And so she told me, she was like, I was like, nah, you bug. She was like, yo, she said, yo, you elbowed the shit out of me last night, and I thought you was gonna punch me. She was like, yo, you be going through some shit in your sleep. And I was like, wow. And I don't recall dreams that would, you know, have me think that I was doing things like that. But you know, yeah, she put me on. She told me about stuff like that. So, yeah, but then you got the ego. You got, you know, like the machismo. Like, I don't need to talk to anybody. Should I? Probably. Do I need it? I don't think so. I think I can work through it. I worked through 25 years in the can. I can work through.
You working through the rest of this,
I'll get through it. Hook or crook, like my mom used to say. Hook or crook. I'm gonna get through it. But yeah, I think the mental health aspect is overlooked. I got into a light discrepancy with a guy on the train station. I was all the way, I was with my homeboy though. I was all the way ready to, like, what we could say, fix him. And my man grabbed me, he was like, yo, you're not in the big yard anymore. He said, you're probably never going to see this guy again. You just let him walk away. And he said, you're in a city of 10 million people. You're never going to see him again. Just let him go. But the mentality that's cultivated in prison, like I said, even if you're in a big prison like Clinton, which has a population of over 2,000 people, like, you're there with the same 2,000 people every day for years. You know, it's not
you're
like
gonna
see him, even if you're in, you know, Upper H and I'm in B block. We're gonna see each other at some point, whether it's in program, in the yard, in a visit, in commissary, somewhere, law library. We're gonna run into each other. So, you know, whenever a discrepancy pops off, we got to finish this here and now, because I ain't gonna be, you know, always looking over my shoulder. Wait for when you gonna bust me in the head. I just take my, you know, finish you now, take my ass to the box. I used to call that the transfer lottery.
Oh yeah.
Like come on, sing.
Yeah.
You know, and
hopefully they transfer.
Yeah, you get them go in because you know they always send me to Southport. I did all my box time in Southport. So go to Southport and where I'm going from here. Auburn. I'm not gonna stay here long. Back to Southport. Where I'm going from here. It's Comstock. I lucked up. The one said 1995, and they sent me down to Easton. But that was the year of the double bunk. That's the year double bunking started in the Maxes. And Easton had a bunch of, not a bunch, but had a couple like black nationalists, like the old BLA guys, Black Panther guys.
Yeah, I met quite a few.
And they organized like, now we're going for that double bunk shit. So my stay in Nat and Easton was like a few months because we had the lockdown. They locked the prison down. A bunch of dudes got stabbed for trying to break the strike and all that. And you know, I think it was poorly organized. I think it sent I think it sent several messages. Some people I think may have got from it like, I ain't with that shit. Like you niggas don't know what the fuck you doing. Or like, you gotta stand for something when you fall for anything. You know?
Right.
But from then on, I mean, you know, DOC implemented the double bunk shit, and I never did it. I paid for it. I paid for it. Actually, when I left Easton, they put me in a box. I left Easton on my way going to Wendy. So I was in Easton box. They came and got me, put me on the bus in downstate, sent me to Auburn as a layover to get to Wendy. So when I get to Auburn, the depot, I'm thinking I'm going to the box. So then I pull up there in the depot with everybody else. They take my shackles off. I'm like, oh shit, they don't know I'm supposed to be in the box. I'm like trying to fade to the background. And we go on D8 in the depot in D block, and the sergeant that's there, he's calling 2 names to go in each cell. And I'm like, what? I start looking at the cells, and these cells got, you know, in 1995 in the maximum security prisons in New York, this is like phenomenal. 2 people in the cell, like in Cali and in other places around the country, they've been doing it. You know, they got they got 3 and 4 people in the cell down there in another state. And then I looked at there and I saw 2 beds, and then he called my name and somebody else's name. I'm like, I'm SHU. I'm told on myself, I'm supposed to be in the box. And he was like, you're only gonna be here overnight. I ain't got no room in the box. Yeah, I said, man, you put me in there with another human being, and only one is coming out. I'm like, you know, now. He was like, I said, that's all I needed to know. So they put me way in the back of the company in the single man SHU cells. He told me, he said, I'm gonna have to write you up for that. I said, man, you do what you gotta do, and I do what I gotta do. And then when I left the next morning and went to Wendy, they tried to double bump me in Wendy. I refused there, and they put me in a single cell. And so I had the 2 tickets. I ended up doing 9 months key block for them 2 tickets.
Wow.
But I let them know. I said, you can put this on the record. I told them, I said, you can put this on the record. You put me in a cell with another human being, and only one of us is coming out of it. I don't do that. And they never tried to double bump me ever.
Yeah, that's on your file now. So now they know, okay, we can't double bump this guy.
Yeah.
I remember, like, the first prison they took me to was 5 Points. And I get to 5 Points, and it looked like Oz. I don't know if you ever remember Oz on
I never watched
HBO.
I was in prison for all that.
Okay, so Oz is like a futuristic prison.
Right.
5 Points is relatively new. I think they finished it in 2000 or something like that.
It might have been. Yeah, somewhere around it. Because 5 Points, I've never been to 5 Points, but I've been to Upstate.
Yeah, so 5 Points is something like
they
Upstate.
say they're twins.
Yeah.
They're exactly the same.
Something just like, it's just like Upstate.
Yeah.
I think 5 Points is supposed to be a box, but so I get there and I'm looking, I'm like, what the hell? All I see is like, it's just a bunch, everything is electric, you know? I'm like, the tower inside, they have a tower that's inside.
The cell block.
Yeah, you see like electrical stuff in there, like lights and stuff. I'm like, what the hell they got me? So, take me to my cell, and the cell open. Now the dude that's in the cell, I come to find out he's a cool dude. But once I seen him, I said, I'm not going in this cell. This dude, he's from Buffalo.
Okay.
This dude, I heard he used to be like a football player for Buffalo Bills.
Oh, you gotta be talking about
I forgot.
Skills.
That might be his name. This dude is so big.
Right. It might be talking about Skills. Skills, I was in Attica with Skills. I actually played football with Skills because in Attica they got equipment football. Yeah, Skills is a big boy.
I said, I'm not going in the cell.
Yeah, they
with
say
him.
he was on the practice team for the Bills.
Yeah. He was on the practice I'm not going in the cell with him.
Yeah.
Like, he started laughing, but
and he's not really that tall. He might only be about 6'1".
This dude was huge.
Yeah, but he's like.
I said, I'm not going in the cell with him. See, I was like, well, we're going to write you up and see. I said, I don't care. I'm not going in the cell with that dude, man. I'm not going to. You better find somebody else for me to go to the cell with. But I'm not going in the cell with this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I seen him like later on. And he was like, yo, man.
Because if I do got to get crazy, there ain't enough room. This dude is too big. He's taking up too much space in here.
I seen him later on. He said, yo, man. He said, yo, man. Like, yo, if you ain't on no bullshit, I ain't on no bullshit. I said, yeah, but, you know, I didn't know that. And just,
I don't know.
You know,
that don't really, because I know Skills, and Skills is kind of, he's not mild mannered. He's all right normally, but he's got a hot head.
Yeah,
he's got a hot head.
Nah, you just can't put me in the cell with this. I was just like, nah, I can't do that.
I mean, you can't. You know, I had a conversation with a guy recently about, he was, you know, it seems like everybody nowadays is younger than me, but it was with a younger guy, and we were just talking about relationships. So not necessarily amorous relationships, not with your woman, or it doesn't necessarily have to be a familial relationship. But, you know, just relationships. And so we compared like the relationship you got with one of your comrades, your man, and the relationship you got with your woman. And you know, some people adopt, I don't even know if it's real, but at least they hold up the idea of bros over hoes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, that's retarded.
Yeah.
I'm like, you sleep with this woman, like in the bed with her.
You are really intimate.
You go into but you go into an unconscious state with her. she prepares your food. Like, how much trust do you have to have? Because that was my thing about being in the cell with somebody. You know what I mean? I gotta go to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I know. I don't come across.
I've heard some stories.
But not even. I didn't come across, even before they started the double bunk thing. I didn't come across fiends like demons in human form in prison. I just told you about the dude Stinky that was, raping dead bodies, and the puppet master who was grinding up women and making hamburgers and feeding them to people in the community. You know what I mean? Like, people was in prison. You don't know, and you see some people like.
You would never know.
Yeah, they look normal, and then you hear about their case, and you be like, he did what? And like, man, you can't put me in a cell with just anybody. You crazy? I don't know what the fuck this guy's gonna do. And you wake up, you gagged and bound in your bed or some shit. So that was my thing with him, and I'm like, yo, you sleep with her, like you go into an unconscious state. That means you trust her. She prepares your food. That means you trust her. Your man is your man, and I understand that camaraderie, but you don't sleep with him. He don't cook for you. You know what I mean? Your woman should be, and like you said, you get intimate. You get butt ass naked with her. You share closeness with her that you don't do with any other human being, man. I think it should be your woman. It should be your woman. Now that's theoretical. I've actually been in the position where I told my woman, "Sit the fuck down. I'm going to take care of my man." That's my homie. You know what I mean? But in a much bigger scheme of things, yeah, you should give your woman just a little bit. It should be just a little bit more above your comrade.
Of course.
But it took me a while to cultivate that. In prison, all I had was my comrades at one point. I mean, I had a woman, but I'm in Attica, New York. She's in Brooklyn. My comrade is there. You know what I mean? So when when it came time to consider those relationships, then with those circumstances, my comrade went out. I brought that ethos home with me. Doesn't work out here. Doesn't work out here.
But it's hard to shake that off.
Yeah, definitely.
It's one of those habits.
It's a mental habit. It's a value that you cultivated over, for me, over the course of, a quarter of a century.